everyone. Welcome to the Hackshow. Thank you for coming. The Hackshow, remember, is the last day of an 8-week journey. Oh no. Sorry about that. So the Hackshow, it's an 8-week journey for 13 people. A boot camp where we spent more than 400 hours learning to construct digital products. So something that we have learned. So we learned first to start. We learn to code, first thing. Then we'll learn how to write good code. And most of the people that came never had coded before. It was a struggle for them, but they all made it to today and built great products. Then how did we learn during these 8 weeks? So we did coding, then they keep on coding until eventually they just kept coding and coding and coding. Okay, so we want to thank a lot of people, starting from our teachers for the 6 weeks. Also, we want to thank the Nick and Xavier for teaching, for helping all the students. We want to thank our mentors that they helped all the students during the final project and giving advice, technical advice, and also product advice. I want to thank for our talks, because during these 8 weeks, some days there will be some workshop on some specific topic about maybe Grunt, maybe Node.js, some topics that they were not in the curriculum, but we wanted the students to learn about them and know that they exist. So now a little bit of promotion. Can I learn that? Am I good enough to learn how to code in 8 weeks only? Then you just can apply, and if you pass our process, that will mean that you will do it. Because, I mean, all of our students here have made it through. They have built great projects, actual web applications that they are running on the internet with a URL. And that's pretty awesome for people who 8 weeks ago almost didn't know nothing about coding. And then, so what's about? So today, it's about showing all 5 projects, but all of them, all our students did a great effort, and we want to them and to thank them for the amount of work that they did during this last 8 days or 9 days, building their own project. But we had to choose only 5 top projects to be shown today. Obviously, we could let everyone present their project. That would be great, but the Hackshow will be too long, and nobody will come. So we had to choose 5 projects. After the 5 projects, we'll have a keynote from Nicolas Overloop, who's the CTO of Novicap. Novicap is a startup here in Barcelona, and he will give out tips from senior programmers. Okay, and I just want to pass the presentation to the actual protagonist of today, and enjoy the show. And yeah.
just want this thing to be gone.
Mode. Yeah, I want that thing to be gone.
Right-click it and then say hide.
Right-click what?
The bar.
I am right-clicking the bar.
Okay, isn't there like... I don't know.
Okay, hang on. Side pane? No.
No.
That didn't do anything. Okay, hang on.
What's F5?
I don't know. I tried F5 already.
What is this? Is the first time this happened?
No. Yes! I swear I did this. Oh, wait, that's
nice.
5 seconds ago. Hello. All right, so my name is Sharon, and I'm one of the students here at Ironhack. I'm from Canada originally. I'm from Toronto, actually. So I actually come from an NGO background. I used to work for the International Labour Organization in Senegal, and I worked for an education company here in Barcelona to learn how to code here at Ironhack. So for my final project, I decided to make an application that searches Wikipedia by to go. So I'd like to start with a bit of a demonstration about how the application works. And I'd like to ask all of you if anyone has some travel plans coming up. Anyone going somewhere interesting this summer, maybe? Yes, Nisha? You're going to Chile? Cool. Anyone else? London? Bilbao? Sounds cool. Ooh, Gran Canaria. That sounds interesting. Okay, we're going to because I actually don't know anything about Gran Canaria. Sorry, Hector. So let's look it up in Google. Okay, so what's the first thing that comes up? We have the Gran Canaria Tourism Board. We have Wikipedia. We have more tourism, another tourism, another tourism. Lonely Planet, more, wow, lots of tourism. Wikipedia is real information though, so let's look at Wikipedia. Wow, this is geology, transportation. This is long. Is anyone gonna read this? No, this is boring. Okay, let's leave. Let's try Wiki2Go, and we're gonna search for I really hope there's some results. Okay, we have a few. We have a few. Ooh, there we go. We've got some results. So the way it works is searching Wikipedia by the location to see what Wikipedia articles are also tagged with nearby locations. So it looks like we've got a couple locations in Gran Canaria. Let's check them out. This looks interesting. Pilancones? Heard of this? Hector? Is it a cool place? Ooh. It looks cool. It looks really cool. Okay, that's interesting. What else is there? Lots of interesting. Cool. No, we're not logged in. Okay, we're gonna log in and see what happens. But first, I want you to try it yourself. If you'd like, if you have your phone or something with you, you can go to wiki2go.herokuapp.com and you can check it out for yourself. And one thing you can do if you don't have any travel plans coming up, you can also search for this location. So you can get the location from your phone and search for things that are near us. So let's do that. We're gonna search near us. Ooh, we have lots of results near us. Did you guys know that there is the Castle of the Three Dragons nearby? There's San Pedro de Puelas. Looks cool. All right, so try it out on your phone. Try it out yourself and see if it works. I hope that it does. And I'm gonna sign in so I can show you what happens when we sign in. All right, so let's talk about how this application works. There are actually 3 sources of information. There's the user, and there's Google Maps. So first we have the user. The user puts in either their current location or the location that they want to search. If they put in the location they want to search, we take a little detour over to Geocoder and we get the coordinates from the Google Geocoder service. And so either way, we need some coordinates, and then from the coordinates, we search Wikipedia. So we're hitting the Wikipedia API, and they now have this geodata extension. As I mentioned, you can search for articles that have nearby coordinates. So Wikipedia sends us back a list of all of the articles that are tagged with coordinate or geodata. And then, before we present the results to the user, we head over to Google Maps. Google Maps also has an API. And from Google Maps, we get the locations on the map, and we put markers on the map of where all of those articles are. And as you've seen, in Google Maps, we also have info windows. Click on the marker, you see some information, which is from Wikipedia, about the location. So that's how that works. Okay, back to the app. So we've got some cool things around here, and now that we're logged in, we can save them. And we have our list of articles that look very interesting and super, and maybe are some articles that we'd like to read at some. Okay, so we've got our list. What do you want to name it? Remy? What should we name our list? Okay. Best place in the world. Okay, so now we've got our own personal collection of Wikipedia articles and collection, and we can read the previews, because the Wikipedia articles are long. Sometimes you just want a preview. And since I'm logged in, I have here all of my other recent collections, and I can also go to see all of my collections. But we're in this collection now. So we can also go to the full Wikipedia article. Go. We have our full Wikipedia article. And so before I continue, let's just go back to the presentation. And I'll talk about some of the things that I learned, because that whole step about having the info windows and saving the articles and creating the collection was actually very tricky. I spent a lot of time on that. So I'll tell you a little bit about what the challenges were and what I learned from them. So the first one was the save button. So one of the things about the Google API, info windows are not actually attached to the markers. There's not one info window for every marker. One info window that moves to each marker. So when you click on that info window, how do you know what article is attached to or what marker to? That was the tricky part. So that was that involved putting an ID on the button itself, the save button, so that when you click the button, we're listening for that click, and then we can take the ID and from there create an array, and then later send it to the back end to find the articles in Wikipedia and then create them. So creating the articles was actually a bit of a challenge for me, because that's a bit more about how Rails works, and learning how to create instances of models when you don't actually have a form to create them. So that was a good learning point. The third challenge was working with Google Maps and the Google Maps API, because it's quite an extensive API. Problems with, like, when you drag the map, how to get more results, how to zoom correctly, putting the markers in the correct place, changing the markers. I don't know if you noticed, but the color of the marker changes when you save the articles. Little details really, presented a bit of a challenge, because it was learning a lot of new terminology in this this different API. So that's some of the stuff I learned. We're going to go back to our list of articles about the best place in the world, which is right here. And the last thing you can do, the to-go part of Wiki2Go. You can export the article to take with you. So as you can see, we have PDF here. It takes a little bit of time to PDF, but meanwhile, we can do whatever we want. And when it's ready, we can open the PDF. We have a PDF of our article, so you can print it out, you can, I don't know, whatever you do with the PDF. Lastly, we can save all of the summaries of all of the articles. We can save them as a book in its own PDF. So here we have them all together, which you can also print or email to yourself or whatever. So that's how the PDF works. That part, this piece really would not have been possible without the help of my mentor, Xavier, because I didn't really know how to do it. I was really bent on doing EPUB or like ebook export. Actually, the PDF worked really well. It's great. So I had to install a new program, this WK-HTML to PDF program. I had to install a gem called PDF Kit. And then I also used delayed jobs, which is what allows you to continue working while the PDF is being made. And then text. So I have some ideas for how to improve this application. I would love to see in the collection, so the page where you have your articles, in addition to the preview and the exporting to PDF, I would love to have another map where you can see the location of where your articles are, your saved articles are. And I would also like to implement that you can save notes about the articles. So you read something and you want to jot down a note or a comment like that. And lastly, that you could share the articles with other people. Secondly, in terms of Wikipedia, I'd like to replace the iframes that you see in the info window. They look kind of ugly. So I'd like to replace them with actual extracts from Wikipedia and maybe an image, and then also I could have more control over the design of how that looks. And it would be cool to be able to filter by categories, because Wikipedia has a ton of categories you can also access through the API, and I just didn't have time to do that. Lastly, for the exports, as I mentioned, I'd like to be able to do it in EPUB, and I think it would be a cool feature if you could have the exports emailed to you, so you have them conveniently in your inbox. All right, so if you have any questions, I can take them now, or you're welcome to contact me later or talk to me after the presentation. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Mucha suerte.
Thank you.
Okay, this is my presentation. I'm a programmer, a desktop Windows programmer, and yes, okay. I'm a Windows programmer, desktop, and never wrote one line of design web. This is the. Sorry. I was enrolled in the Ironhack to learn web programming for applications in the web. Okay, I will to show you an application about something very, very amazing, invoices. Invoices are very amazing. People like invoices, no? People pay invoices, every company and every person. Okay, but not these normal invoices, but invoices for the Spanish administrations. Spanish, a lot of invoices generated by big companies with great budget for computing, and also for small companies, freelancers, and a lot of people who makes invoices for a lot of administrations. 2 months ago, started a law who says the invoices made to administration should be format. This is an electronic format, not even any electronic format, not a PDF, not easy to generate. And we have a problem. We have a problem because many companies have no idea how to produce an electronic. And this is the more or less format will be XML, needs to be signed, it's a signature, it's a special kind of. It's not easy to generate, and you need to send to a secure administration. Every administration can have a different model or place to send your invoices, and it's complex. Then the idea to make it easy in 4 steps for the companies. My idea is to make a little application. This application can be stored in the local network of the company in a little server. I put the name Facturem, is a name similar to factura in Spanish. And how it works? It works generating for the company generates a easy to generate CSV. A CSV can be generated with Excel. This is a sample, a very simple invoices. This invoice has just an item, just a tax %, and has no payment terms. There is another sample. This is more complex. This has 2 items, 2 taxes, 3 payments. But I designed this format. It's very easy to generate, and the mandatory is the version, the header 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to mark the mandatory lines. The 5 is not mandatory because it's optional in the legal format, and are just informating a clue for the person who made the invoice to know how to put in every cell. This is to generate also for a program. You have a RRP or has a little program who can generate information for your accounting. This, returning to the presentation, in the first step, we generate this format. The application will convert to XML. This is a special kind of XML. Name it Facturae, the version 3.2, the version legally accepted, the only legally accepted. And another kind of problem is the invoices must be stored for at least 5 years. And also, I sign it, you cannot do anything. If you store your invoices in paper or in PDF, it's not valid. The only format valid is the signed XML, and you need to store it. If you lose it, you have a very great problem if you have an inspection. The steps. The step is you are seeing before you generate invoicing with Excel or similar. The second step is your load to the application. The application is here. It's a very single front end. We have a simple login. Login is secure. In production, this application will be HTTP, and the database will be encrypted. But in the first will be in the local network, because this is not necessary of security. Well, in this case, this company has 3 invoices, and we can upload another invoices here. I will change the company, because my sample is for another company, to show you the errors that this application is verifying the files. See, no problem. Okay, one moment. This company has more invoices. The format is explained here in the main form, or here you are explaining how the fields must be. It's very easy. The row more complicated has 16 fields. You see the customer ID, the tax customer name. Loading the invoices, we choose a file. This has errors. I will show you what happens. In this case, this is an invalid file, has an invalid postcode, has an invalid data, has some errors, and the program explains the field and the line who has the problem. If we get a valid file, for example this is the valid. No, the program is the fields. These codes are mandatory for identifying this organism or this institution of the government, and we can download the original file. If you want, download the generated XML. I will do that. As you can see, has to be with LC. This is Facturae. At the moment, this file is not signed. It just converted to this format, XML. Okay. We can sign the invoice. In the backend, certificate, the private key of the issuer of the invoice. And it's okay, the invoice is signed. At the moment, this invoice can be modified. The signature is attached inside the XML file. If you download the signed version, we see the extension is different. The file is similar, but has a sign at the end. This is a signature. This is a hash who marks which marks this file as in untouchable, unmodificable. Okay, the fourth step will be sent to the administration. This actually not finished yet because I had some problems with the API, the governance, and every administration can has a different website to push these invoices. Currently, most of people push the invoice manually in the website of the administration. And if I do is a fake, is just invoice, send it. This is the next step to implement. Returning to the presentation, if I upload, signing, and sending is very easy for the people. I have some customers of my company who has really problems to generate sending, so on. When you are passing these 4 steps, the days, it's theoretically. And I will also here is a not less important way until the okay, is very simple. As you can see, for generating, signing, sending the invoice is so boring. It's not math or tourism or games, but is for money companies. And see if you have any question, pues, I will try to respond it.
Hello and good evening. I hope you can hear me all. I'm actually from Germany. My name is Moritz, and I came here for. And I will introduce why I came here. Firstly, something completely different, and I often had the chance to work with the IT department, and amazing. They were doing a department, and so I decided to know more, and I think it's like in the digital age, nothing you really want to miss. I've done some programming earlier in physics, doing fluid flow modeling, but I wanted to learn something more meaningful, and came here. And tonight I'm going to introduce you something that's completely new. I guess this. Imagine you had the opportunity to travel as far away as you want for free. Where would you go? How far would you go? For example, Jose, where would you go? To Argentina. Okay. Right, it's not unusual, but of course. So the Breakout competition is a competition that's actually a charity project. We raise money for the UNHCR's refugee fund, refugee project, and we travel as far away as possible within 36 hours from one point. And we raise money per kilometer. Every team that is competing has sponsors, which is sponsoring them as they travel per kilometer. And the money will then go to the UNHCR's refugee camp. There are just a very few basic rules, but 36 hours, 2 people in one team, your best friend, and absolutely cash. You're not allowed money on traveling, but you get sponsored, and this is a really good motivation to convince people to pay you flights or to take you when you're on the street hitchhiking, to take you really far. Any transportation is allowed. You can ride a donkey or whatever or like most of the people do hitchhiking, but you can't pay for it. And of course you want to go as far away as possible, raising money per kilometer. And this competition produces 2 categories for competition. Firstly, of course, is distance, but then there's also money raised, because if you're traveling really far but 1 cent per kilometer, you probably won't be as good as someone else who's getting €2. He's only go like 500 kilometers and get €1,000 in cash. And that's it. My project for the last 2 weeks was to develop a website to support this project online. The technical challenges, I was using Ruby on Rails, the Twitter Bootstrap, HTML5, which is the front end, and then jQuery. So I set this up in 2 stages. Firstly, I had to develop something that was actually running before the event, like before the 36 hours of the competition. Teams had to sign up, they had to log in file and sign up sponsors that would then sponsor them per kilometer. And then more importantly, during the event, I had to show a map displaying the actual locations live of the teams as they were racing across Europe. Then, of course, a live blog with messages, pictures that the teams would send while they're traveling, and a kilometer and a revenue counter. Now I will go into a bit more detailed. I will actually show some code which will be understandable for also for non-coders, some of them. And these are like the key features that make this project cool and make it in for the teams, but also the sponsors and everyone who's watching it. So the first technical problem or challenge was to create the map. And for the map, I had to access data that was in my backend. The backend is everything you don't see. It's like where you store the data. And you cannot just use the front end to then just get data from the backend. It's not possible. But there's a trick that I use in my controller. I prepared an object. This is the power of object-oriented programming. You prepare a certain way, which you then on the front end, and for example, call for a team, or call for the position, or a message of the teams, or the players' names. And this is parsed as a JSON object and then used by in the front end. So actually not that hard. Then, very importantly, the sponsors, they're not as naive. They will probably say, okay, what if they really get really far? Teams go, the last managed to get to Tenerife, traveling 3,000 kilometers. And what if you want of money? Like, what if you're not sure where your team will actually end up? You say probably, okay, I won't go higher than €500. And then you to encounter this while you're calculating the money they raise to be fair to the other teams. And so as you're traveling, you're reaching your sponsor, and then once the limit is reached, it will not calculate any further and use the limit instead of the money per kilometer times the kilometers traveled. And then you sum all the donations and you create an array which stores the team and the data, which means the sum of the donations, then lists them, ranks them, and puts out the leading three. Then another thing which was quite technical was to get the actual position. So we could live positions and send this to the backend, for which I had to create a special form which would only show the positions. The API that I use is when you only want to send data that actually works. Great. Now it's time for some demonstrations. This is what like. It's in the background you see Google, which is showing the starting point of the competition. This is a spring in Munich. In the background you see the university. It's bad weather. But basically when we start, everyone is and then we count down 10 seconds and then everybody races off to the next. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Need to do. I've set up a 19 hours already, so team tracking all the teams in a fixed setup. I've already created a team which will now update its position. And now if I click on current position, I'm getting the current position. This is correct. So let's enter a message. And upload an image. And send it. Okay, it's there. Now imagine I'm a sponsor and I thought, yeah, maybe the team Sean, we give them €2 per and we want to see how far they're actually related, and you want to check basically if they're still alive. And then you go and zoom in and look what they're doing. They managed to get to the Black Sea. Wow. And if you click on the marker, you can see this. And they're on a boat. I'm on a boat. Okay, but also you want to know how far they are on the leaderboard. Let's check it out. And Sean and Domingo are actually leading the distance leaderboard and also the revenue leaderboard because we gave them €2 per kilometer. Yeah, this is displaying the live blog with 2 pictures, and there you can see them on a boat, and it's all true, they're actually there. And there they to the Black Sea, nice. And of course, we are not traveling with laptops, so we made a whole for mobile phones. The mobile phone will be used in quite the same way. You can see the teams, where they're traveling, and you can update your position, like here, which will work exactly the same way. If you click on the chosen file, you will actually be directed to your phone's camera and upload it really easily. The prospective features, so this is the basic function of the app, but of course I'm planning a lot more. I want to enable communication between teams, so teams can actually like write each other when they see, which happens quite often. Then sponsors should be able to set challenges, which means that you can say, okay, if my team met a donkey in the Alps, I give them extra money to go into the fund. Also, last year we had a funny challenge which was accomplished. A team managed to cut off an Italian dude's, so some part of the hair of an Italian man, or the Vienna Symphony Orchestra's conductor wand. Maybe someone will manage to do that. That would be a nice challenge. What I want to do is show links from the map, which will then link to live blogs of every team. Yeah, and basically trying to make it even more interactive. Thank you very much for your attention, and where you go. Do you have any questions? Maybe. Yes, please.
Well, we have projects, 3 good projects with ideas, but this one that puts in the presentation that you have learned something more. Your complicated pattern or software principle that you have learned, or that you have learned in this.
As a complete newbie to coding, I've almost done no code at all. It was definitely work with the group, which is well documented. Before you start, always read the documentations and review how stuff works. But still difficult because you have to get the data in the correct format so that your Google API can use it, which means you have to know a lot. You need to know a lot JavaScript for the front end, and it's like interdisciplinary. Yeah. Do you have any other questions? Yes. The question was whether this is a project that already existed, and yes, we conducted this project for the first time last year. I started this with a friend. We actually we heard about the concept and conducted it in Germany. Participants. Overall, we raised €1,000 for UNHCR, and the winners managed to get to. Yeah, this is the first year we really with some proper online stuff. Date is already set. It's going to be the 4th. Yeah. Do you have any other questions? Then thank you for your attention. I will on.
So, everybody, thank you for coming. Before I start, because I know I couldn't do it in the, I want to thank to my mentor, is Ruth, helping me with a project, and and your end with different stuff and weird stuff, and also all my mates that were awesome during all the course. So thank you very much to all of you. Okay, who I am. My name is Adrià Castany Serrano. I'm from Barcelona. I'm the only student and I've studied telecommunications engineering. Can you hear me well? Better now, right? Okay. I've studied telecommunication engineering and I'm working since 6 years as a consultor. There was a time that I decided to change my career because I don't like it, and I really like this web development world, and I thought that this was the best way to get in. I consider myself as a developer, and in this case, for the final project, I decided to make a front-end project. Why? Because I really wanted to fear of the front-end, and well, you will see another reason. You can contact me. So, what I've made? I've made 11. What's 11 is an online for performing art professionals. With that I mean actors, musicians, dancers, whatever, theater actors, models, whatever, okay? This is my idea. Let's move on. Why I decided to make that project? For me, also, I know for people will be filled. Then, what's the need? People need a place to put their work and put some videos, to organize things, to present to some people, to companies, to classrooms, to children, I don't know, to show to people, have it. So I decided to make it. It's easy, it's shareable, and online you can show it whenever you are. Or, when I was doing that project, I found that it's also interesting too because it can be an alternative route through the companies that want to need some dancers, some performing artists, and the companies itself and the artists. So sorry, and so it's a different. Agencies are abusing; they are earning a lot of money, and artists, like always, undervaluated. So I think it's also a good idea for that. The third reason is that also because you can, if you have a video, you can enliven. It's like a synonym of encourage another dancer, another artist, and say, okay, your work is nice. I don't know if you have ever visited Behance. You can appreciate something. So I like that idea. So let's go to encourage all together between us. But for that project, we only had 2 weeks. So I have to cut the overall idea and make an MVP, minimal viable product, sorry. So I limited this to make for dancers, like me or my friends or whatever. And for example, there's a field called dancing styles and whatever. People can information. You automatically get a portfolio folder, and then you can stack all the medias there. But anyway, you can make new folders, and you can display things in a different way. And finally, it's just for dancers, but to contact two agencies because you can fill all the measures, all the data needed for that kind of companies or for that kind of work. Let's go to the live demonstration. Perfect. This is the page when you enter. Anyway, you are logging or not, see all the profiles, and you can share it. Sorry, you can media. Okay, doesn't matter. We can store info. Okay. You can log in, for example, as crazy. Oh shit. As you can see, when you log in, you can access to your profile, edit your profile, or check your projects, for example. You can still most evaluated. You can, and for example, you can go to your profile. Nice. Then you can see media, merge, with no projects. It's okay. It's like if you quickly have to show your portfolio to somebody, you can open. You got everything almost. You can, for example, open videos, lectures, for example. This is really funny. And okay, this project, the performance of a theater thing. Then, for example, you can go again to the. Okay, now there I was logging. You can check all the info from him. For example, the basic info, what dances he does, more info, then the origins, the languages he speaks for modeling, for example, or acting, detailed measures, the type of hair, for example, and all the detailed view. It's but you can still put here all your experiences in different sectors, okay? I think I showed you almost all. And finally, I to show you these moving pictures because it was a little, I'll explain it later, but was top framework of the website. For example, you can see that images automatically displays in a nice, for example, from a tablet or stuff like that. Then move on to the presentation. Okay. How I made this application? Well, mostly I've used Ruby on Rails. It's the core of the course, so why don't use it? And then I discovered that JavaScript and jQuery were my friend. Next, I was using Git and GitHub for the version controlling. It was nice. I use Bootstrap, but it's not Bootstrap. It's one front-end framework that makes it a little bit easy to put things in the window, but hard. Use SAS to the website and PostgreSQL for storing the data. The thing I say to you is from Metaphysics Studio. That's the thing that you can display in different way, like masonry, encasing things, and it was also nice a little at the beginning to learn how to. What are the upcoming features? I really wanted to open it up for all kind of artists. At the beginning, the initial purpose. Make it also personalized features like put a photo in your profile and your ending, like Facebook cover or stuff like that, or store things in a different way. You can store also kind of, for example, I want to add some music. Is easy also from example, and another. I want to make it translated in multiple languages. Actually, it's just in English. Then I want to socialize it. It means make it easy to share with your friends via Facebook, via Twitter, whatever, and wherever you are. And finally, and then make a new type of user, like companies, academies, for example, that will come together with the monetization part. It's like if you are an agency looking for artists, dancers, actors, whatever you need, if you pay, you the best, or you get the best rated, or you get, I don't know, the information you got easier and easier. What lessons I have? I passed a nightmare one night because I just call a field type. Holidays, but it was a weekend. It was really hard for me. But what I learned from that, not always looking at the error will say you, oh no, that's an error. You have to correct that. No. Sometimes you have to read all the stuff. You know, it's hard to solve the. So from there, I also lose the fear from real attack and, you know, discover why something is not working. And Finally, I will put a post-it every place I work. Don't call a name, don't call a field type. Then I learned also that this famous impostor feeling that all developers feel sometimes, that for example, isotope, I was 2 days trying to make it with no exit. Llorens was helping me, Xavier was helping me, and it was a little bit hard. Thanks to my blame it well, how it worked, and also documentation was nice, but I don't know, I make it work. And finally, once I understood, I could play it with different types of organizations and, I don't know, filtering, whatever. Next lesson I've learned is to ask and share a lot, because I've shared this with all my friends and all my mates also, and they found a lot of bugs that I don't see myself because I'm just playing with one pixel or one image playing well, and you always don't see everything. So it's a nice recommendation to share your thing and to get feedback usually. And finally, I think that there is really important the need of a team. In 2 weeks, trying to do the overall project. For me, for example, the Rails part were only, I don't know, few days. It's 10% of the project. But then, when I have to do the front end, I last a lot of time. So if you got a team, any of you can also share it and give you feedback, and also you can specialize it, and you can together via GitHub, and it's nicer, and I think it's more useful. Well, if you have any question or any idea, it will be really appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for coming.
It's a bit too loud. Oh, how are you doing? So this is the Finlingo product. My name's Andy Duncan. You might have noticed I'm 1 or 2 weeks older than some of the people in this room who've been doing these projects, or a couple of months anyway. I've actually been having a sabbatical from programming for 50 years. Back in 1999-2000, I was an Oracle DB corporation. I was also part-timing as a Perl developer for Sun Microsystems, and I actually wrote a couple of books for a company called O'Reilly, Oracle and open source programming, and Perl for Oracle DBAs as well. But then weirdly, I don't know how this happened, I was behind the wheel of a large automobile. I woke up with Sean one day in the banking industry. Years later I've come back, and it's a real struggle. It's not like riding a bike. It's more like, I don't know, skiing, or so. It's really, really difficult to come back. But fortunately, Ruby is a bit like Perl. Anyway, so I've been thinking of it. So what's this Finlingo product? Oh, if you want to contact me in the future, just go to LinkedIn and in the banking industry, me and Sean have been disappointed with the training and educational systems and the total lack of educated, and they haven't known what they were doing. So try to before I get going, thanks particularly to Nick and Xavier for all the help they've given me in the last few weeks. And everyone else at Ironhack, particularly the trainers and so on who've helped us out over the last 8 weeks. And just for being there, Stack Overflow as well. Thank the Lord. Stack Overflow. Right, what's my first target then with Finlingo? It is a thing called the CFA Institute. They run an exam called the Chartered Financial Analysis exam. And last year, 210,000 people paid for the CFA to do an exam with them. Now, you can't see the figures there, but they paid approximately $1,000 each to do the exam. So that's 210 million right there of income for the CFA Institute. Now, a lot of those people, before you can even book the exam, you have to enroll with the CFA, and that's $450. People just enroll. That's $50 million income for the CFA Institute. Now, here's the best part. Of the 210,000 people who booked the exam, 46,000 turn up for the exam they paid $1,000 for. Now, would you pay $1,000 in 6 months' time and then exam? It depends. These 46,000 people woke up on the day and they just knew they weren't going to bother going in. There was no point. They were going to get less than 7. No, they didn't bother going. That's 46,000 people paid $1,000 each. Now, of the 164,000 exam, only 70,000 of them passed. 3% pass rate. What does that mean? That means 100,000 people and failed it or didn't go to it. Paid $1,000 each. $40 million. That's a Lingo product. Because I solve this difficult. And hundreds, and then you have to answer questions on these equations in 1 minute and seconds and get it bang on. Much harder than it sounds. So I'm going to aim my product at this $140 million worth of pain, and if somebody just pays me a measly $10 million, I'll have given the world $130 million worth and kept 10 for myself, for my trouble. So, worked for these two companies, particularly the bottom one here, Fitch Training. These are the Coca-Cola and Pepsi of the financial training world. Now, most people can only pass if they do training. It's very difficult to pass without training, which is where I'm living in the last 10 years. Look at the cheapest option here. You can't quite see $9 for the cheapest package. That's $650. That's the cheapest package. You can go up to, look at this one here, it's £1,700, which is about €2,500, and that is at $1,399. Now, Finlingo is going to come in under that, a long way under. So we're going to charge $5, $10 a month for 6 months to use. Half of it will always be free. The other half you'll have to be a premium user. Jose, you've got a lifetime pass. Okay, so thanks for all your help. Things he's been doing for us. He said he's from Colombia. Once we've attacked and destroyed the digital analysis market, and we've taken the last 20 years, we're then going to aim at all the other financial, CF, FRM, Claritas, and then once we've got this, we'll go after any exam people find difficult, which they need to pass to make their lives better. So why do these 210,000 people do the exam? Because there's a glass ceiling. If you want to go above 150,000 euros a salary, you have to pass the CFA exam. Basically, that's don't go any higher unless you pass the CFA exam. Many people pay so much money to do the exam. Right, so let me get to the demo then. I know it's getting late now. So the beauty of Finlingo is never answer the same question twice. It provides an infinite number of questions. Every time you press continue, you get a totally brand new question never been seen before with accurate information. So if I can develop my fingers, I'll mess around. How do I do this? Okay. Super. This is the home trickery. Oh, thanks. Where is he? Where's my man from South Africa? There's his mother. Where is he gone? Age. There are 10 in the CFA exam. I've only had time, unfortunately, to do this one, but when I get back home, I'm going to be doing the other 9 areas. So let me show you the portfolio plan. Oops, area. This is what you get to when you do that. I don't think you can see it from anywhere further away than me, but these stars are spinning. And I'm excited about that. Where's Xavier? CSS is awesome, isn't it? CSS is awesome. Oh, you might be able to see that one. It's a bit sharp. Okay, so let's do one of the questions. There's 20 question types, and each one has a controller in Ruby listed with Google Charts bootstrap materials, because Nick said that was hard and cool. Because I'm hard and cool as well. I'm cool as Nick. Each one has its own controller, each one has its own model. Design it in a way in the future we can combine them together with other things. Anyway, let's have a look at one of them. Let's have a look at this one here. So this is a totally brand new question. We'll get rid of this thing here. Oh, there we go. That's good. The stars there have stopped spinning. I didn't want to put people off while doing these difficult questions. So there's a unique chart which is generated from this. The key thing, as I said before, this question has never been asked before. This number is, it's within a range pre-supplied by the model. Numbers are within realistic ranges, but they're different, they're randomized. Lots of sampling and randomization throughout. Everywhere I can get rand and sample in, I have. New question, totally new name, new bank. 3 completely new answers. Now the answers, one of them obviously is correct. I calculate this myself, but just for everyone else in the room, I've put the answer there. Obviously the answer, so it could be A, B, or C. Move around, you'll never see this question again. And let's just press the right one and show you what happens. So if I press the right one, obviously I get a nice little message, green, continue. Nice green friendly message to help you continue. But you might notice I've got a little progress bar that's just lit up there. Let's get one wrong. Press the button, you get a brand new question, never been seen before. Number of you can't learn the answers to the questions. The problem with the old CFA exam, when you get your 720 questions, is you see the word the answer's 12.6. It's pattern matched 12.6, so you're not learning anything anymore. So that's why these exams that these companies like me and Sean have worked for, because you just learn the answers to the questions, even if they move the order around. So, oh yeah, one other thing. I do put the equation up for people to, so you can't answer the question while the equation's on the screen, so that you're forced to try to learn the equation. Oh, what it is, but I can't. Oh, I have to get rid of it. I remember what it is again. Oh no. So eventually that burns in, and then you work it out. Now these answers can only have this information. So all of these answers have been constructed in the wrong way with this information here. This information is spurious, but you do have everything all mixed up in a random order. So you have to really know what you're doing right. And the answers we've tested it a lot, and it's very hard to guess your way across. So let's put the wrong answer this time. But before I do that, I want you to look at this little heart here. This is awesome. Right, you ready? Let's get the wrong answer. Watch that heart. Oh, goodness gracious. What did you... Oh, that was... Now, that's the longest... That's the thing it took the longest to do, and it's the best thing by miles. Right, so the answer's in red. Let's get some more wrong. I'll just... 4 wrong. You get 3 lives. Let's get another one wrong. You see that's the right answer by... There's the wrong one. Oh, you got no lives. You're now on thin ice, and you've got 9 to go. I know it's like Duolingo, which is the inspiration really for this. And now, wrong answer, get lots of tears in rain. Oh. And when later on I put sound on there, there'll be tears. Tears of a clown. And then you get thrown out. And you've got to do it again. Now some of the tables and charts, some of the questions are quite funky things. Oh, by the way, just while we're here, nicely on an iPad mini. You can see that. So iPad mini and question type. So good. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. iPhone. I don't do Android, I'm afraid some of you do. Right, oh, by the way, here there's later going to be a video, and if I just show you the kind of there. So, let's do some Nick trickery again. Do some videos. I'll attach a video to each so that help, and you'll have me talking to you silly things with a kind of drawing pad, how to answer the question, what's going on, and I'll always try to get that within 2 minutes, but no longer than that. So you can use those now if you want, by the way. They do get a lot of hits, which is great, and then money, because I remember I am a banker as well. Right, okay, now let me show you at the end. You can see there's one grey bar left. What happens when you get to the end? Notice there's 4 stars here, because they've completed this 4 times previously. The answer's 1821. I want you to notice that there's now a spinning star here. It's as good as the heart, the bingo. Not quite as good as the heart. There's a little spinning star there. Now if you drop out, because you continue, you should see there are 5 stars here now. So we've got a permanent record of how many times you completed the sequence. So obviously, just to motivate, get 10, and then do something else. Eventually there'll be 200 models, question types for the CFA. Is that it, Sean? Pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. It's getting quite late, so presentation, and then we'll finish off. Okay, so this is the key thing. You never answer the same question twice. And any questions at all? Okay, I think everyone wants to go to the bar. No, one question. There we go. If you just want to talk into here.
Are you concerned about Duolingo, Finlingo? Okay.
URL.
When did we wake up to?
It was in a gutter in New York. After a long night. Oh, there we are. Thank you very much. We're done. Thank you.
Has been like the presentations of our top 5 final projects. Not they were all same level, but we had to choose 5. Nicolas Overloop, CDO of Novicap, and he will be sharing with us some tips that he has run into building the project and sharing his experience as a senior.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much. The short progress, the great amount of progress that these students have made in a very short. It's going to be lessons learned, more like what senior engineers think and do, just to give them like a head start development career. Right? Just a bit quick, just to go quick over my background. When I graduated, I sort of built a project on my own. It was fine. Sort of the
I built it on my own without anybody else there. Then I joined Geckoboard in London, where I actually learned the most from other senior development. And it's actually this experience that I tried to capture in this very short presentation. After that, I went contracting in a city. It's not very important. I'm going to talk about two things mainly. Software habits that senior developers have, which is testing and dealing with technical debt. Yeah, and I hope this will help our newly graduates quickly along their, enhance their learning process, if you will. So how does the in software? You deploy the code, your users are happy with the new features you just shipped, and that's it, right? This is if you start out, the first things you create, very much like this. What actually happens is the real world. You code, your users are unhappy, you just broke some features that were built before, and they were on. So you've frantic, but customers are now. You deploy it again, you broke something else, because there are no tests, right? And you don't know when it ends. And I repeat this cycle, and at some point, you will have fixed it. But unfortunately, many unhappy faces you're going to accumulate before everything is stable again. So the real world with tests looks entirely different. This is why senior developers do it a lot. So you code with tests that cover the functionality that your customers have accept. They break, you broke them, but you know before you shipped it. So now you can fix it. So you fix it, you deploy it, your users are happy with the new feature, everything is well. So it looks very much like the ideal world, except there is more work when developing features. Yeah, so the main takeaway from this thing is that it's actually a huge time saver. I know that some of you, when I was junior, I thought that it was going to be a waste of time. Why should I deal with tests, right? But over time, it saves you much more time than it actually takes to write them. And then there are other lessons I learned, which you should test what your users go through, which means you need to do browser testing instead of just doing a unit test, because your unit test might work, but they're broken and your actual behavior might fail, which means that your users are still going to be unhappy. You haven't, it's an idea, you can't test everything, there is a trade-off there. You should make sure that you try to test the behavior that your users actually go through. It's not the same actually. So then the other part I see happen a lot is you're testing external systems. Like you have a test where you hit, for example, the GitHub API. And some GitHub is quite stable, but some APIs just go down and suddenly your tests break. And then you look into it and you go, right? Consequences. First of all, you will spend time debugging something that's not broken. And second, your test suite will take a lot more time because every time you hit an external API, it will take 2 seconds on average to go back and forth, which slows down your tests, which eventually, if we like to develop things faster, will also make us run our tests less often than we would like to be. So the lesson here is to mock out the internet. There are several for this. You can use VCR or WebMock. There's a lot of support for this in Ruby. And you should definitely go for it. Then, in terms of TDD, which is another thing, I usually just develop the happy path with a browser test. And then I cover it, and then I write edge cases. For example, an edge case would actually be that the GitHub API goes down. What do you do then? Another edge case would be like you request an array, but what if the number you're requesting is too high? Like you sort of comes from like the edges. What's a more less likely scenario that's going to happen, but can still occur? Something that you also need to test for. This helps for robustness in the code in general. Also, when you for example, publish a library, you will see that other developers that use your code and do not have all the knowledge that you have will trigger these edge cases, even though you would never expect them to do so. So that's it for testing. I'm going to talk about another topic, which is also very important, which is technical debt. There are many definitions of technical debt. Called debt because it's like when you develop something and you take a shortcut, initially it's like a loan, but if you don't deal with it over time, it will accrue interest. That's where the definition comes from. But my personal definition is that it's everything that slows you down or your colleagues for development of subsequent features. So in the front end, it's going to blow up like a month when my colleague works on it. And then that colleague has to, well, first figuring out what is going on, which can take a very long time. And then when he's figured it out, he needs to fix it as well. So that's like, he needs to pay down the debt or work around it, which will more interest in this case. So to give some more examples there, everything that slows you down, for example, unreadable code, like single letter variable names, poor variable names, you need to think about what's actually in them. That slows you down. Meta names that do something else and you would like to expect from the name, that's something like it does too much or it doesn't do what it says, right? Which means that you have an expectation to do, but it doesn't do it, and then you have to figure it out, right? So, well, if it would be very simple and we just do what you expect to do from the method name, it would go faster. And the other one is if you work with databases, there can be data. You can have a very large. I've run into this before. If you have a very large data set, you can't run. Well, you have to run migrations against a lot of this data. It takes a lot of time. It's hard to create etc. So yeah, database clutter is one. Also to understand if there's like different formats. For example, you store a JSON hash in this string. You have this actually a lot in Mongo. It varies over time, and if you don't make sure your data is consistent, then eventually you will have to deal with these, which is also a form of technical debt. So database clutter is a big one, not an obvious one also. Then unused code. That is where I was dealing with legacy. I would map out the classes and how they connect to each other, and there would be an entire island of classes, like 10 classes, that would just not be connected. It was just dead code. Just nobody had bothered to remove it. But I spent a lot of time like trying to figure out what it does and why it was there, etc. So this is something, if you've developed it yourself, you probably still remember that it's unused. But if someone gets it, he's not going to know. Then typically you can also like what you see a lot is like people commenting out code, trying to preserve it. There is and version you need code and you need to recover it. Just remove it. Also redundant files that are no longer used, just get rid of it. You have version control. And then yeah, so unnecessary this one. It's not very obvious. It's also something that you can sometimes, for example, if you service, and nowadays the hype is to use a lot of microservices, you can break everything down in a lot of microservices, but it doesn't mean that you will get any actual benefit from this. So too complex architecture for a simple problem. That will also slow you down because you have to adhere to the architecture, understand how it works. I mean, this might be contentious for some people, but I think complex architecture is something you should be avoiding if you can use a simple solution, as long as it actually works very well. Yeah. Then And the reason is like, suppose you know all this, you will still accumulate technical debt because it's actually impossible to avoid it. And one of the reasons is time pressure. It's like you next to now, you're just gonna hack it together, right? And you're gonna file a ticket, or if you, but you need to get it shipped quickly. That's the main reason of technical debt. Then there is understanding what goes on, like, which means that you would do a quick hack. You think you've solved it, but actually you've solved it in a way that was not expected to be solved that way. Then obviously, if you cannot refactor, you cannot like extract code. Yes, you cannot clean, because, and by now, if you do it, you should be trained to feed code, because everything would. So this was also a factor by itself. I have a test suite that's technical debt as well. Having something that should be documented that is not documented, like variables, it's something that you might know they exist, but your colleague doesn't. And then one other common thing is delaying refactoring. So you need to refactor it, but you delay it down the line. You say, we'll do it later. And that's is you do it, or you have a process in place that you do it regularly, quite often. That's the same as lack of code growth. So code growth is typically where you just build features and new features and new features, and eventually your file hierarchy, it's not anymore. You have 200 active record models there. You should use namespaces. You should make sure your file hierarchy. You can look at it and you can sort of see where you need to click at least. You need to know where you're going in your own file hierarchy. Example. And also, you might solve the same problem several times. And if you're lucky, you've tested it and you can extract the same solution into a separate class. And minimize the variations in the solution of this problem. And then one I see often with juniors is that they think it's important to write minimal code, like tiny code or short method names or short solutions. I think this is misplaced because in general what you need is readability. You need to be able to quickly understand and how long the method name is, or how long the variable name is, it doesn't matter. As long as it's quick to understand, it's fine. This is a very good example of how bad it can get. So this is brainfuck. So brainfuck is very nice in that it's a toy language. Somebody invented it. It only has 5 characters. It does something in memory. It's like the worst. You can to a point where technical depth is so high, you're better off just trashing it and doing it again, right? And which is sometimes you have to make that decision as well. Sometimes it's not worth to fix it. You just throw it away and do it again. So yeah, a lot of the behaviors that seniors about preventing. So as I said, it's not possible to avoid it. But there are tools that can help you fight it. Tests, obviously, code reviews will make your code better. You will get a person to look at it. It will go like, is this still here? Or it also helps with knowledge sharing, right? And then code coverage. If there's a large section of your code that's not used, which ideally also everything is tested. So if it's not covered by, if it doesn't get hit by tests, it means it's actually not used. In terms of complexity, simple, keep it readable, and then, yeah, refactor often. It's also, I think I've talked about these points. So yeah, and then the final point, yeah, we are hiring. So you can contact me, nicholas@novicap.com if you're interested. And does anybody have any questions? financial, yeah. Oh, fintech in Barcelona, particularly, or fintech in the world? And then there is Cantox, which is also. There are two major big startups. But in general, we find banks quite receptive here because they realize that their technology is very bad and they're getting outcompeted by sometimes. But fintech everywhere is hot, on fire. Barcelona is a good place. People like to come here, but specifically if you're going, I don't think it has a major advantage compared to or any other place, right? Right? Any other questions? Nope.
Okay, thank you very much for Hackshow. You can go upstairs and share those people having fun. Okay?